It's hard to say no to people. When someone comes up to you and is like, hey, could you help me with this? And you want to be like, well, yeah, I can help you with that, and happy to help you out with that. But at the expense of what? At the compromise, the sacrifice of what? A good friend of mine, he's a godfather of one of my girls. He he said, got to be careful of being too busy. He said that busy is an acronym for bound under Satan's yoke. That
Bound
yeah,
under Satan's yoke.
yeah, bound under Satan's yoke, and that this is such a tactic of the devil, right? A lot of times it's not necessarily the big temptations that, I mean, Satan's going to tempt us with a lot of things, but I think something that is maybe comes under the radar is things that are being asked of us that really kind of interfere with our relationship with our family, our spouse, and our God. A lot of times we can be asked by friends and families. We can be asked by committees, churches. We can be asked by so many people to do so many extra things outside of the things that we're already doing. And it's competing for our time and our attention. And sometimes I don't know why we might do this. We just, maybe because we think we can, like, maybe we're really good at it and they really need us. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this extra thing. But what ends up happening is that we just get caught in this trap of being consumed by all these things that we're doing, that we're neglecting that relationship with our family, with our children, and with our wife, with our spouse. In fact, I said in one of the sessions, I talked about how a friend of mine who had counseled many people, many couples, he said the number one thing that a man will say about his wife is that she doesn't respect me. She cuts me down with her words. She doesn't appreciate what I do for the family. And the number one thing, though, that a woman will say about her husband, like almost verbatim, he said, is that he doesn't choose me. He chooses his golf game. He chooses his friends. He chooses his work. He chooses all these other things. But she said, but the women are saying, the wives are saying that she doesn't feel chosen. Because we all make choices in life, and during the day we have to make a choice whether we're going to do this or do that, and it really needs to be on our mind of, are we putting our God first? Are we choosing God? Are we choosing our spouse? Are we choosing our family? Or are we putting them aside? I remember we were on a retreat one time, Elise and I, and there was a question that was asked during our couple reflection time. And the question was, do I put you first? Obviously God's first, but in life, when it comes to the responsibilities, the kids, do you feel like I'm putting you first? And I was really excited to hear some affirmation, because I thought, that I had been doing a really good job at this, knocking it out the park. And she said to me, Jason, no, I don't think that you put me first. And I was like, okay. There was a moment where I wanted to kind of take out the briefcase and say, okay, exhibit 1, remember when I did this? And exhibit 2, remember when I did this? Instead of, by the grace of God, I kind of didn't pull out that briefcase. And I just kind of surrendered and said, well, by the grace of God, I'm going to work on helping you know that I put you first. So that became like a mission and a prayer for me, that I wanted to make sure that she knew, above everything else that I do, that she was number one in my life. And she still is number one in my life. But I got to make a choice. I got to choose to do things. And one of the hardest things, that maybe some people can relate to this, is that it's hard to say no to people. When someone comes up to you and is like, hey, could you help me with this? And you want to be like, well, yeah, I can help you with that, and happy to help you out with that. But at the expense of what? At the compromise, the sacrifice of what? And so 2 things that I've come to understand and learn, I'm still learning. I'm not perfect at this, and please pray for me on this. But one thing that I realized when it comes to making these kind of extra decisions of things that we got to do, we could help out with, or maybe it's somebody asking us to do something, is first and foremost, pray about it. And not just like I need to find time in my own prayers to pray about this, but I need to like ask Elise and say, hey, Elise, could you pray with me on this? Is this something that I should be doing or we should be doing? And then that way we can come together, discerning together as a couple, whether or not this is good or not. If this is of God, then God's going to give us the grace and the strength to be able to do it and to understand while it's going on, while this may be hard and while I might be away, we can understand and put things in perspective of like, I did choose her. I did choose my vocation. And we turn to God, but God is still calling us to do maybe this extra thing. But if God is calling us not to do it, to be detached from it, to be able to let it go. And the thing that I someone told me about saying no, because that's a hard thing. You discern it. You know, now you got to tell that person, no, I can't do that, or no, I can't be on that committee, or no, I can't help out with this. When you say no, remember that the reason why you're saying no is because you already gave your yes to someone else. Your yes has already been given. So you're not really saying no, it's just that someone else has my yes.